Hello hero, it's Lucy Lannon. I am back for the first quarter and Gibbous Oak Moon in Libra, which is happening exactly as you're seeing this to within half an hour in terms of the first quarter phase, and then over the next few days in terms of that growing towards a full moon. Now, if you're coming across me for the first time and it's not that you're seeing this live, there may still be something in it for you. But I'm doing kind of little snapshots over the month. I've already bulk filmed for these ones, so if you do want kind of lunar guidance over this time period, please do like, subscribe and ding the dong to be kept up to date with further lunations. What else do I want to say? This is a general reading, so not everything will hit exactly, but hopefully it'll offer you just a little bit of guidance for over the next few days. It is sort of any topic, so I'm using these DIY Love Deck cards, but they could be in relation to anything. We'll kind of see what else comes up. I'm also using the Archetype deck, the This Day I Am cards, and in this case, we're also doing the Twin Peaks Magician Longs to See Tarot, just because it's really rad and I enjoy it. And there we go, moons are flying everywhere. What else? If this isn't exactly what you are after, but you like me, you like my style, etc., just know that there may be something for you in my playlist of A to Z Lucky Dip readings, colour-based Lucky Dip readings, channel stuff, cartomancy stuff, love readings, whatever you fancy really. There's a whole bunch of things out there. And yeah, I'm going to continue to shuffle these, and there'll be a quick cut before I give you the main info for this month. Alright guys, this is an interesting one. Because the Queen of Swords is popping up again, you may want to check out the lunation reading for the last few days, sort of prior to this, just for the context of what's happening here, because I think it will sort of carry through, even though I used a different deck and the topic is slightly different. This one is all about you. And I know I'm disappointing some people who saw the Lovers card and the love messages and thought, oh, it's to do with a relationship, especially following on from the last reading. But even in that last reading, we did sort of speak about having done some personal shadow work, having overcome some stuff, gotten a grip on personal habits, etc. This has been a reflective period for you in some form or another, and a lot of what's being said here pertains to that. So I'm going to continue on this theme of speaking about it as if we're just talking about your inner life. And if there is anything relevant to the outer, you take that as whatever resonates for you. But I think this is much more kind of psychological and spiritual guidance this time round. Let's get your activities out of the way. So this day I am exploring podcasts or paying it forward. These are things that you might want to do in order to kind of reset yourself, bring yourself back into the present moment, which is very relevant for a reading that's extremely swordsy, so lots of rumination, possibly lots of anxiety at the moment. These are activities that will snap you back into being yourself. And I don't think that being yourself is going to be a problem for you. I think the reason you're having these swords is the kind of final stage of a process of self-definition that's been happening for quite a long time, I dare say months to years with you. We've got the Saboteur in the upright. It says, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring. Again, I don't think it's that we're grappling with these fears in a way that they're going to, if we don't grapple with them now, we're not afraid that they're going to affect things or hold us back long term anymore. We sort of spoke about that last time a little bit, or touched on it, that the cycles that you're working through now are going to be relevant to practical action and not to like long-term trauma issues. So you're winding up again this kind of end point of feeling certain ways about things, and I think you're feeling a bit self-conscious about not quite being in that fully active energy, right? There's There's a guy who can't communicate very well. There's a guy who can't use the tools available to him, or indeed can't function magically for some of you very well. You may have taken a step back or been locked out. That's absolutely fine. We all go through periods like that. But I don't think you're being patient with yourself. I think you're beating yourself up for kind of self-trapping in a way with your thoughts. You're cycling over the same issues, but then instead of giving yourself grace for having those issues be a repeated thing that needs resolving through kind of long-term work on self-concept, I think instead you're just seeing yourself freeze in the moment and going, oh, what a idiot, what a shit, right? And this is not the attitude to take, because actually you've got decisions being made, you've got the eventuality of your kind of highest good coming to life. We've got the disguise metaphor from last time coming in again, you know, keeping certain aspects of your life, yourself, secret from parties whose interests for you are kind, but whose opinions may not be the best for your mental state at the moment. This is you being a bit of a trickster. We've gone from the Goblin King in the last one to Windham in this one, and sort of pretending to be the figure that they want to see for a little while you sort things out. But in this card, it's leading you to the granting of your wish, to the thing you wanted to get by doing all of this work in the first place. And this kind of public self-consciousness is echoed in some of the DIY stuff as well. We've got, you're so unpredictable, it's wild, keep it up. Windham is a figure that is very unpredictable in the negative, right? He's a killer, he's a, some would argue, a psychopath or a sociopath. He's a magician in the Black Lodge. He's not a good person to kind of come up. And I think this is you imagining how other people feel about you, that you're wildly unpredictable, that you're dangerous to yourself and others, that you've got all these long-term schemes sort of going on, but that the universe will win out over you in some way. I'm here to tell you that that opinion of yourself through their eyes is horseshit, and actually what people are thinking about you is that yes, you're wild, yes, you're spontaneous, yes, you're always coming up with new things, new moods, you might go through a lot of changes, but they see it as a gift. The people around you see it as you being quirky, you being appealing, you being somebody that's great to have around when you want things to be refreshed, as we saw in the last reading, right? It was a refreshment project. And then with I'm so grateful for your loyalty, thank you. This is both the reflection back from those people that you're worried about the opinions of, and a statement to you to say, be grateful for the people that are in your life. Instead of worrying about what it is they see you as, try to say, you know what, many of my wishes have already been granted because I have these marvelous, miraculous figures around me, and I can choose who I give more of my time to, which comes up again here, right? There's the kind of refusal over this short period before the full moon to give too much of yourself to people who, although they may be close to you, right? We've got a familial dynamic here. There may be a resistance to get fully back into contact with people who you know require, again, same as last time, more explanation, right? You are totally allowed within this short period to say, I'm not going to reply to my cousin. I'm not going to get in touch with that friend that I haven't seen for 6 months. I'm not going to call my parent back, or whatever it is that you think may require of you more than you can intellectually and emotionally give right now. I think the priority should be back on yourself, on reaching equilibrium, on getting yourself to a good vibrational state, if that's your lingo, and just kind of coming to that place where you know communication will be easier, in order that you can then go back and say, right, who out of that group, who, you know, that's not in my top 5 most essential, most urgent contacts at the moment, who do I then want to get in touch with and update and maybe meet up with, and etc., right? This isn't a warning. This isn't saying cut everybody out that isn't essential. It's more like saying, if those figures in your life crop up and you know they're not a major player right now, or you know that you've got to get a lot done, it's all right to say, hey, can I speak to you in a few days? Or indeed to just kind of ignore it for now and get back to them in a few days, because that's how long these readings last for, you know. It's not going to be a long-term thing of, oh, I'm working on myself, I'm going into these deep psychological things, and it's so immersive that I may never contact you again. It's just giving yourself permission to say, hey, can I call you back at a better time? Because this one really isn't that great for me. And maybe you don't even explain to them why, and you figure that out when you're back to decent communication, when you're back in the mode of being your best self. I know the Knight of Swords can be a little bit impetuous with the way that they speak, but in this particular deck, this is a figure who comes in like the Knight on the White Charger to kind of rescue other people. He's very sorted out. Yes, he's got a tumultuous love life, but generally speaking, he's a man with the answers in terms of the community. And I feel that that's what you could click back into if you just give yourself a little bit of space to sort your own shit out right now. Now, some of that is reclaiming your circumstances. We've got Leo here with, I'm going to forget the names, and Twin Peaks is like my favourite thing. Please, somebody who's a little bit more awake and in less of a heat wave, tell me in the comments who these are. Bobby and Shelley. We've got Bobby and Shelley with Leo, right? So we've got the negativity coming in, which is the Leo thing, the thing from outside, the thing that you couldn't control. For some of you, I'm literally hearing the phrase new shoes, and it might be relevant, or it might just make you laugh, because this scene always makes me laugh. But the things between Shelley and Leo prior to this scene were very serious. They were very traumatic for Shelley. She went through physical violence, emotional turmoil. She had to sneak around, which is a theme that's coming up a lot with these lunars, in order to be able to see Bobby and sort of bring herself back to an equilibrium. And I think that you've gone past that stage of being a bit sneaky with the things that you love, with the projects you love, maybe protecting things from a figure that is not that great for you, who may be a little bit abusive or a bit of a narcissist, or just not that positive at this time, right? Just a bit overbearing in that Leo kind of way, not the sign, the character. And you're coming to this position of Shelley in Leo's wheelchair, holding a gun, saying, no, I'm taking my life back now. You don't have to have seen the series, by the way, but it does help. This is just you reclaiming your circumstance, saying, listen, I've got a fuck off sword. Don't mess with me. I know where I've been, and it's not where I am right now, and I will absolutely defend the place that I've gotten to, which is more liberated, which is free of whatever this imposition was, and which doesn't need to sneak around anymore, because I've kind of done that bit. I've kept things protected, right? I've managed to get to a new phase with somebody or something that means that it's quite stable now. There's the threat of the gun, but you notice that she's not shooting it. She's not actually having to take action. It's more of a case of being a bit of a fearsome presence around your passions right now. Maybe being the person brave enough within the group to say, hey, these are the things I stand for, and I will do them, and I will protect them, and I kind of don't give a shit whether you like them too. Because I've been through a lot, right? We've got Josie as the doorknob. You've been through some kind of, again, transformation due to imposition from the outside. I know that this scene is ridiculous to a lot of people. I'm in the same meme groups that you are, my dudes. But in the end, the encounter with Bob that traps her in the drawer, and remember we mentioned drawers last time, we mentioned organising, categorisation again. But this kind of encounter with Bob in the end is a similar situation. We've got an imposition that we couldn't help from external circumstances in our life, which left us incredibly wounded and transformed into another state. Now for you, rather than Josie, this state is a positive one. But again, there's a need to kind of cut off from anybody who might want to weigh in on this process before it's fully done, in order to recuperate, get back to gratitude for your friends and family, get back to a position where you recognise that they're grateful for you and they're not attacking you for going through a bit of stuff. And to recognise that you are unpredictable, wild, spontaneous, wonderful, and you're fully in control of your communications from here on out. So the next phase, from the full moon onwards, subscribe if you want to see it, is going to be a lot more positive for you, because you're going to get out of this self-trapping, ruminating kind of an energy. And instead of sabotaging your own projects because of fear of other people's opinions on what you're doing. You're going to just be brave enough to say, hey, I'm doing this because I'm interested in it, and I hope that you support me, but if you don't, I couldn't really give a shit. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.